Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for tuning into another Facebook Live event. My name is Amani Miles, and I am a Student Success Coordinator at Evolve502. I'm here today with Indigo Cornelison, and she's the Director of Student Engagement. And I'm also here with Ariel Snow, who is the Assistant Director of Diversity and Inclusion at the Jefferson Community and Technical College. So thank you all so much for being here with us today. And today we're going to be having a conversation about Rise Together. And Rise Together is a higher education student support system offered at JCTC. So before moving forward, I want to encourage those of you that are watching this live to engage with us. Feel free to ask questions, make comments, or just let us know you're here. We want to have a conversation with you. So also, please consider sharing this broadcast with students and families that could really benefit from the info that we talk about today. So first things first, I'm going to talk about Evolve502, the work that I do, and why we're having the conversation today. So I'm with Evolve502, and we partner with public and private agencies to support students to be successful in school, career, and in life. And as a student success coordinator, I work with students in JCPS schools to develop career plans and connect them with resources and supports they may need to reach out to or to reach their post-secondary goals. Of the populations that we work with at Evolve502, there are students preparing to attend JCTC in the fall, which is very, very soon. And we also have students that are figuring out their post-secondary decisions still. So working with students regularly, we all know how much support students truly need to be successful, especially during times such as these where the effects of COVID-19 are constantly calling for students and really everyone to adapt to new processes and new ideas. So with that being said, we knew that we needed to meet with folks from JCTC that could really speak about the ways that students can be supported while attending this institution. So, that was a mouthful, but today I have some questions for Indigo and Ariel, and they will be able to provide us with some information about Rise Together. And Indigo and Ariel, I really appreciate both of you for being here today. And I'm going to stop talking for a second and give you all the floor to introduce yourselves and tell us about the work you do. So, Indigo, I'll go ahead and start with you.
Okay, perfect. So like Amani said, my name is Indigo Cornelison, and I serve as the Director of Student Engagement at Jefferson. So what that basically means is I do student activities. So I plan all of the campus-wide events. We have a total of 6 campuses, actually, so I do a lot of programming on all of our campuses just to make sure students have an opportunity to get involved outside of the classroom. In addition to student activities, I also work with Ariel and working in our multicultural center and with Rise Together. So Ariel will talk a little bit more about that, but in a nutshell, that's what I do at Jefferson.
Awesome. And Ariel?
Yes, so my name is Ariel, and I do lives at Jefferson. I oversee our multicultural center, and so that's just space that we have on campus, one of the only spaces that we have for students of color and other marginalized identities to come in between classes or before they go to class. We have computers, free printing down there. It'll be 10 o'clock and trap music's already playing. So it's a really lively space that we have to support students. And then we also do events. So the events that Indigo plans, a lot of them happen in the Multicultural Center, but I also am in charge of planning cultural events on campus for all of the marginalized identities to be represented and to learn more about their cultures. And then I also work very closely with our Rise Together program, which we're going to dive into.
All right. Perfect. So thank you all so much. And now we're just going to get straight into the questions. So the first being the most obvious question, what is Rise Together, or how can you describe the program for those of you who may not, or for those who have not heard about it before?
So I'll kick us off. Indigo, jump in whenever. Rise Together is a grant-funded program. It is a partnership that we have with 15,000 Degrees. So it's for Jefferson students who are African-American and live in one of the 5 Zones of Hope neighborhoods. So the Zones of Hope are California, Newburg, Parkland, Shawnee, and so if you are a Black student and you have either you grew up in those neighborhoods, you currently live in those neighborhoods, you spend a lot of time in those neighborhoods, then you can be a part of our program. And we just offer a variety of what we like to call wraparound services. Other people call them support services for them to help, much like the mission of Evolve 502, just to help students be able to accomplish whatever their educational goals are at Jefferson.
And just to add to what Ariel said, Rise Together is something that we didn't come up with. And when I say we, I mean Jefferson. This is something that the community came up with, and they came to us and said, we want to implement this program at the college. So we have a lot of really good buy-in and support from the community, which is, I think helps make the program really work. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I have students that I'm working with right now that could really utilize this program. So I'm really excited to just be talking about it with you all. So I'm gonna go straight into the next question. How can, I know you talked about that it's for African-American students within the Zones of Hope neighborhoods, but how can students determine, are there any other ways that they're eligible for the program?
Nope, it is open to whoever wants to be involved. And so if you are, like I said, Black student and you live in one of the Zones of Hope or you grew up in one of the Zones of Hope, and you're a student at Jefferson, then you can be a part of our program. And, you know, I know we're going to talk about all the things that we offer, but we really like to have students who are dedicated and committed and are willing to participate in every component of the program, because it's a combination of all of the support services that we provide that make the experience really great for the student, and also just kind of help them not only get through Jefferson, but we're also helping students beyond Jefferson and maybe transferring to a 4-year or connecting to a career path. And so we like to say, you know, those are the only requirements, but we want those committed and dedicated students who want to participate in everything that we have to offer.
All right. So in terms of the current pandemic that we're in right now, how have your processes maybe changed in terms of Rise Together or working with students?
So we're all still trying to figure that out. I think everyone in the world right now. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what we offer, and then I will kind of hit on maybe how some of those things will be different. So with the Rise Together program, we do, like we call it, these wraparound services, and we have a bunch of them. So one of the main ones, and the one that I think is the most beneficial for students, is our coaching. So I have myself, Indigo, our assistant vice president for student affairs, and our chief diversity officer, and then we have interns. All of us have a coaching load of students. So it'll probably be maybe like 10 to 15 students that we each have. And we are checking on these students. Now on the pamphlet, it's going to say at crucial moments in the semester. So we like to have meetings maybe like 3 times a month. But for us, what that means is whenever we need to come and get you, we're going to find you. So a critical touch that we have in these coaching appointments with our students that really makes our successful. So we also have mentorship opportunities. Like we said, like Indigo said, we have really great relationships in the community, especially with 15K and all the ways that they reach out in the Louisville community. So we're able to give our students in the program a community mentor. We also give them on campus at Jefferson. And then we also have like an ambassador program. So they get a mentor from one of the older Rise Together members. All of that, plus having us as their coach, and we're doing these coaching appointments throughout the semester. And really with the mentorship and the coaching, we're telling students, okay, we want to know how your classes are going. We want to know what you're doing in the classroom, but also what's going on outside of the classroom. I'm going to be all up in the business because we know that that's where the barriers are. We know that the barriers, students aren't finishing class or they're having these hardships outside of the classroom, and then they're bringing that into the classroom. So we try to either pinpoint a problem even before the student can pinpoint a problem, or we're trying to remedy a problem that's already come up outside of the classroom and remove as many barriers as we can to make sure that they're successful. So those coaching appointments, we are all up in your business, but it's beneficial for the student. So we have the mentoring, we have the coaching. We also do enrichment trips and service learning opportunities. And so the service learning opportunities are just giving back in our community. And then the enrichment trips, we will go places locally to just give those students a really good experience outside of the communities they live in. And then we also typically try to take them to a HBCU. So in the past, they've gone to Nashville to visit TSU and Meharry and Fisk and just experience that HBCU culture. This year, we were supposed to go to Memphis. We were very, very excited. But then, of course, Miss Rona came, did her thing, postponed that trip. And as far as the way that the pandemic has affected our program, we probably won't be able to take any enrichment trips in the fall semester, but we're looking for ways that we can boast up and do a really, really big HBCU college tour once the corona has decided tormenting us. So we have all of those, the mentoring, the coaching, we have enrichment trips. We also have what we call the persistence and graduation fund. So this is a lot of money specifically for students who are in Rise Together. So this is why we like to say we want students who are going to participate in everything, because we don't just want a student to Rise Together, give me this, right? But this money is there to help remove any type of barrier outside of school. So we have used this money to cover rent for someone who may have had something come up, car troubles, paying different light bills, childcare. We're able to really help students remove those barriers with this money. And we have like a student emergency fund for Jefferson, but there is a whole panel. People have to agree and all of that. This money we have, our persistence and graduation fund, is specifically for our Rise Together students. And so it is probably one of the best opportunities that we have to just make sure that our students, you know, they're taken care of holistically. So they can come to the classroom and really focus on class. And one of the last things that we offer, one of our big things, is we have a class. And so we have our first year experience class, which all first year students have to take at Jefferson. But we have one specific that is just for Rise Together students. And then in the spring, we have the Black leadership class. And so I love this class. I mean, in my years of schooling, you know, grade school, going into college, getting my master's, I have never in my life had a class where it was only Black students. So being able to teach that class in the spring with our Black leadership class was such a wonderful and enriching experience. And we're having conversations that you can't typically have in a normal classroom. And that's even greater with our first year experience class, because we are teaching students how to navigate college life, and we're teaching students how to navigate Jefferson. But we are teaching students how to navigate that while Black, which is a really great experience. We're not just telling them like, here's advising, here's financial aid. We're saying, here are these offices. Also, what is code switching and how do you, you know, navigate that? What does mental health look like in the Black community? You're a student now. What does that look like? And having those real conversations, it's really impactful for the student. And that just really transitions well into our spring semester class with the Black leadership class, because we talk about what is college, and then we get to the spring semester. What is your place in college? How are you a leader? You know, who do you draw your leadership from? And so both of those together are just super enriching experiences. And we are really trying to encourage as many students as we can that will be in our Rise Together program to definitely enroll in the class. It's not a requirement, because we understand that, you know, sometimes it doesn't work with your schedule, but we really try to encourage all of our Rise Together students to take our class, because it is a very, very enriching experience. And as you can see, all of these support services, they just work on top of each other. They work very, very well together to provide that support. I think our Black students, and now more than ever, I mean, we have always needed it, but right now, I think the way that we approach college, not even just with the corona, but with everything that we've seen this summer, it's going to be different. And we do this work, genuinely love students, we genuinely care about them, and we want to see them be successful. And so that's why our program works better, or it is more helpful for the students than a lot of these other programs like we could just have students come into the multicultural center, but that's not that support that we're giving them, that continual support that we're giving them to get to the finish line. Like, we're literally wrapping our arms around you until you're no longer at Jefferson. And then even sometimes we're not going to take our arms off of you even when you leave Jefferson. And so all of the programs that we have, and I think as far as like Corona, we're still going to try our best to keep our hands wrapped around students. I mean, maybe like in-person coaching appointments to virtual coaching appointments. As I said, you know, we may not be able to take those enrichment trips, but we're still going to be looking for like virtual experience have with our students. And we still have the class. So we're trying to make sure that we can provide that support however we can, be it virtual or in person, for our students to be able to achieve their goals.
I appreciate how well you captured the importance of what support truly is. Like, you have to look at it from a holistic perspective. And I think the way that you explain all the different things that Rise Together offers is it just really goes to show that you have to think of each part of the student and the child to really support them in being successful. So I really appreciate just that being out there because I already have students in my head that just, I know that really need this, that are trying to go to JCTC. So I'm just excited about this.
And we can think about the students we know that need it, but we also want to capture the students who don't think they need it, because college is different. And we are to maneuver systems that were never built for us to succeed. So we can throw all of these things on top of it, but at the end of the day, we need people like us for us supporting our students. And that's exactly what we're able to do with our both at Jefferson and also in the community. And so it's really, really special. And we're hoping, you know, just to get the students that like we said, both need it and the ones who don't know they need it.
Absolutely. And even the importance of the type of in your face, or just like in your business, as you say, to a way to support students, how that really, really works. Just from my experience as well, like just still reaching out and basically, like you said, in their business. So just anything that works from that space is just really needed, as you said, for students that we know need it and students that don't know. So but moving to the next question I have, you kind of already touched on it, but just if you wanted to add anything else in terms of why you think it's super important for students to take advantage of this program, maybe from the perspective of the student.
I mean, I think that if you're going to school and you're paying to go to school, you want to get the most out of it that you can. And unfortunately, we see so many students who go in the door and they don't finish, and then they're left with a ton of debt. Or what we're finding is maybe a student didn't know one person who they needed to talk to. They had one question, they didn't know who to go to, and so they just stopped altogether. Or there was one situation that happened outside of the classroom. I mean, we all go through life, and especially with Corona still rampant, like we're losing family members, we're losing jobs, like we don't have childcare, like life is happening, and we let like that one situation maybe just mess up, you know, our goals maybe for years and years to come. And so we want to be there to provide the student with whatever support that we can give them to remove that barrier. So sometimes it doesn't look as cookie cutter as we like. I think there are times that, you know, Indigo and I are talking like, hey, do you know somebody who does X, Y, and Z? And it's not just like, hey, do you have an advisor's email? But we're thinking about community resources. We're really trying to just connect our students to whoever we can, however we can, to make sure that they can stay the course and they can achieve their goals, because our students, they deserve to achieve their goals like everybody else. And in high school, maybe they don't have anybody who's there like telling them that. They might even have the opposite, people telling them that they can't. And we just want to be that sounding board that you are able to achieve your goals just like everybody else. It doesn't matter how many times you mess up, how many kids you got, how many times the door has been closed in your face. None of that matters. You deserve to achieve your goals too. And so we do that the best way possible. And I think that the reason our program is so successful is because of the team we have, not only just at Jefferson, but also the folks that we work with at 15K. And we have people who genuinely care about students. We care about seeing students succeed. And that makes the difference for our program. And so I would just say that it's so important because even if you have school figured out. And I mean, we have 4.0 students who have done really, really good. Whenever that situation comes up, you want to know that you have that support system behind you. And that's exactly what we're there for. So for some people, you know, we're all up in their business and we're with them some people don't need us until they need us. And we're on the gamut of just being that support student that we're able to with our program.
Yeah. And to add to what Ariel said, I think that we've gotten to a point with the program where we have like the secret sauce or the secret recipe to really help these students be successful. We have the data to prove that it works. Our students do better than the rest of the students at the institution. So the in your business stuff works for certain students, and for other students, we know like what to do. And I think that students know that we're rooting for them and we're cheering for them, but they also know that let me get to class because if not, Indigo is going to be texting me like, where are you at? So definitely the hands-on approach, and then just all of the other supports and the support system built for students, it just really works. So I think to pass up on this type of opportunity, like if I would have had this type of opportunity in college, I would have done much better. And then also it's unique in the fact that they get to participate in a program with people who look like them, but also they have instructors and coaches and mentors who look like them as well. So that representation piece and being able to look to see like, oh, I can actually do this because I see people around me who have gone through this and they're helping me and they're, you know, coaching me along the way so that I can't get intimidated. And if I do, I have somebody there to kind of back me up. Because a lot of times, like Ariel said, it's not really academic things. It's non-academic things that kind of discourage students and cause them to stop out. But knowing that I can go and ask Ariel, you know, I'm like 2 weeks late on my electricity bill and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I don't have time to really focus on school right now because I need to go to work. I can ask Ariel, you know, can I apply for this persistent to graduation fund? So the program is like almost foolproof at this point. I think to pass it up would be kind of crazy. It's there. We're there to support you. And, you know, we really love these students. So I think it just really works.
And I do want to point out that I can like literally feel how passionate you all are about this and about how you are with your students. And that just is really big for me personally in terms of just rapport and just genuine concern and how important those things are when supporting students in this way. So it actually kind of fuels me because you can kind of tell I'm getting more excited just because how you all are talking about it. So, but to move forward, the next question is, where can students get, or just anyone get more information about Rise Together? Where can they find that information?
Right. So we have information on our website. It's going to pop up for you, but also if you just go to the Jefferson homepage and just type in Rise Together in the search bar, there's more information there. And if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to myself, ariel.snow@kctcs.edu. And for students who are, you know, really interested, we have an interest form that we are circulating. We're still just trying to get more students to fill out that interest form. And then I contact the student and make sure that they have, you know, everything that they need for school. A lot of the students who have been completing that interest form have already gone through SOAR. So they found out about our program through SOAR. That's pretty much how you can find out more information. We post up on the Jefferson webpage, and if you get connected with 15K as well, they're always talking about Rise Together as well.
All right, perfect. Next question I have for you all is, what advice do you have for high school seniors transitioning to JCTC in the upcoming fall interested in this program? So what advice do you all have for them?
Do you want to start, Indigo?
Sure, I can. So I would say get started early. College is not a simple process, unfortunately, you know, to get started. So make sure that you're checking off all the boxes as far as making sure your FAFSA was completed, making sure you're enrolled for classes, making sure you go through the orientation. But specifically for us together, answer our emails and our phone calls. That's one thing that we kind of struggle with students, of course, because it's summertime, it's vacation time for them. So they're not really plugged in with email and answering phone calls and all that stuff right now. But check your email. Also, get enrolled in our class. So students can enroll in classes right now, and making sure that they enroll in our specific FYE 105 class is a really big one, because all students are required to take it. So it's an added bonus to be able to take it with Ariel and myself, and then Danielle, who's our Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs. So being sure to do that are the biggest pieces, but definitely making sure you are enrolled for classes in general. So right now we're doing a big push to make sure that students get enrolled, because students tend to wait to the very last minute to enroll. So I would just really encourage students to get enrolled. And if you don't know how to do that, you can reach out to Ariel, especially since her email is listed. But if you find my email on the website, it's really easy to find. You can reach out to me or anybody who's affiliated with Rise Together, and we will help you get enrolled. As long as you connect with someone at Jefferson, they can help you get enrolled. But that is like the biggest piece of information or advice that I have.
I would say that the biggest advice that I have, and I hope, I don't get in trouble for saying this, but the fall semester is going to be different. If you are a first-time student in college, come to Jefferson. Come to Jefferson. I know, football games, right? You want to do it, but guess what? None of us are going to be going to football games, okay? So come to Jefferson. I think that there are so many misconceptions about college, and they're simply not true. It is a college. You are getting college credit. You get a college experience. Indigo's doing programs. I'm doing programs. I mean, come to Jefferson. It's affordable. Come to Jefferson. I think that would be my advice right now, because your credits will transfer, and when Corona is over, you'll be able to go to all the football games that you want to go to, right? So that would be my biggest advice right now, is just come to Jefferson. And if you are in the zones of hope, absolutely come to Jefferson and come and be in our program, because not only are we going to help you be successful at Jefferson, but we're going to show you how to transfer wherever you want to go, and also get the most out of a 4-year experience too. So we have that experience, all of us. We have the HBCU experience. We have big college experience. We have small college experience. We're diverse in the institutions that we went to. So we're helping students do whatever they want to do, however they, continue achieving their goals to be successful. And then just like Indigo said, be on top of things, be proactive. Right now, it's probably like a sweet spot, because in about 3 weeks, emails are going to be blown up, phones blown up, lines probably on campus. Like right now is the perfect time to just kind of be like checking to make sure you have everything that you need, as far as, financial aid, going to class, speaking with advisors, like, because Jefferson, we're not on campus, mean that we stopped working. So we still have advisors answering emails, everyone at admissions, whatever question you have, there is someone who can help you. And I think a lot of students have not stepped out to do that because they think that we're not there. But we are here. We're just here virtually. And so you want to make sure right now you get everything taken care of, because in like 3 weeks, it's going to be a mess. So just be proactive and come to Jefferson. Just come to Jefferson.
Thank you all for that. And students who are watching in the future, y'all heard that. Don't waste any time. Reach out. People are there to help you virtually. Don't wait till the last minute when everything gets crazy. So, all right. Next question. So I heard very recently that JCTC announced that they're offering an Open Doors Diversity Grant. So if you all could touch on about what the grant is and just some information about it.
Yeah. So the Open Doors Diversity Grant is a new grant initiative that our college just started for non-white students, basically. So anybody who identifies as underrepresented qualifies for this grant. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to apply for this grant, I should say. I won't say don't have to do anything. You don't have to apply for this grant. This grant is automatically applied as long as you meet the requirements. So the main requirements are that you identify as one of those URM categories, that you complete a FAFSA, you have a FAFSA on file, and that you are a degree-seeking student. So that just means you aren't like a high school student taking JCTC classes. But those are the main requirements. You don't really have to do much, but make sure that all of that is on file. Enroll in classes. That will help as well. So yeah, that's basically it for the Open Doors Diversity Grant. And when we talked about come to Jefferson and its affordability, especially come if you identify as a URM student, because this is a special time at Jefferson. This is something that they haven't done before. So being sure to come, and especially if you're interested in Rise Together. 9 times out of 10, if you are interested in Rise Together and you qualify for Rise Together, you also qualify for this grant. So now more than ever, come to Jefferson, because this Open Doors Diversity Grant is one of a kind. And it's easy to get. So as long as you are in line with all the things that you need to do as far as FAFSA and everything else, you will get this grant. It may not be applied until we get closer to school, because financial aid is swamped and they have to go through all of this stuff one by one. But it'll happen and it'll come. So yeah.
Come to Jefferson.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you touched on that it will take some time for that to process, because I know students can get really antsy or just concerned if they can start going to classes and that it'll be covered. So I'm glad that you touched on that.
And we serve the most Black students in the state, so that's a lot of students to go through. So just be patient and know that it's coming.
All right. In terms of questions, that's all I have, but I will ask if there's anything else you all would like to mention or discuss that I haven't touched on today.
I just want to just kind of briefly touch on what it looks like right now. If you're like, oh my goodness, I want to go to Jefferson, what do I need to do? Well, all of the information, of course, is on the web, but you just want to start by applying. So you can apply at our website, jefferson.kctcs.edu. Send a transcript to us. And then once you get the application, get the transcript, you may have to take a placement test, but they're still doing placement tests. A lot of people think we're not doing placement tests. They're doing them. They have different methods for how they're doing them. So you'll be able to get tested. And then they have actually removed the requirement to attend SOAR. So SOAR is our orientation. And so we're trying to streamline the process, because we know that the virtual SOAR may not have been feasible for everyone. So you don't actually have to attend SOAR. You're still able to, but if none of the times are working for you, you just register classes, and then handle your financial aid. Make sure you get your FAFSA together, and then once you enroll for classes, that's it. You're ready when we start. Show up, and you'll be ready. So it's not a very long process. It's pretty straightforward. And I know people think, oh, I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this. That's not really the case. It's pretty straightforward. It's really easy. And so we just want to encourage you. If you're not thinking about school, or you've kind of been on the fence, Jefferson definitely is willing and ready to have you. And if you qualify for Rise Together, we absolutely want you to come to us. And we're going to try to do our best to, help you achieve your goals.
Awesome. Indigo, is there anything you would like to add?
The only thing that I would add again is come to Jefferson. Right now, especially in thinking about the 4-year experience and all the things that you get with the 4-year experience, Corona has kind of put a halt to that. So in thinking about affordability, especially since that is one of the number one things that students are worried about, students and families, we have a very similar experience right now. So the virtual programming that I help coordinate, is just about the same as what you would get at a 4-year at this point. So really consider thinking about Jefferson and thinking about Rise Together, because Rise Together specifically helps students really be successful. And the wraparound supports that we provide are one of a kind. So just really consider that. And if you have any questions, we are not afraid to answer them. We will talk to you about any and everything. Our students will attest to that. So just let us know if you have any questions, and we really hope that you consider coming to Jefferson.
Well, thank you all, Indigo and Ariel, for an amazing interview and for joining me today. And for just talking about Rise Together so we can continue to get this info out to students and families. Something I do want to mention before we go is to let those who are watching who may not have known about, we did have a JCTC admissions conversation with the director of admissions, Jimmy Kidd, last month. So some of the things that are referenced here, we've also talked about it. So that video is housed at the Evolve502 YouTube page. So just to give some further context about admissions. And if you aren't already, make sure to follow us at Evolve502 on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that. And please be sure to share this video with students and families who could really benefit from hearing all this information today. But thank you again for joining us. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.